I just wanted to add one other thing when calculating your WACC. It's pretty common, at least in the retail space, for well, actually, almost all companies um, will lease properties, and it's especially a big part of the retail sector, Walmart and um, Loblaws and whatnot. So they will lease properties, and those will show up as operating leases or capital leases, and they don't fall technically under the debt category. However, it's more conservative or prudent to include lease obligations as debt. Because if you think about it, if you have a mortgage on a house, that is debt. If you don't pay your mortgage, the bank, in a simpler terms, will have the right to your house. And that goes the same for a lease. If you lease a property and you don't pay your lease, you kind of, in a simple way of thinking about it, you give back that property. So it's very good to look at leases and include that as debt. So I'd actually recommend, if it's a material amount, to include leases in your debt calculation. So it'd actually be book value of lease adjusted debt. So I went to their quarterly statements, and they had no reference to leases or obligations in great detail. And in their annual report, they have a whole section on contractual obligations. And so they've included their long-term debt. Here's the operating leases. That's a material amount. $1.2 billion is basically not going to show as debt. In fact, these are operating leases, so they're, I guess you could say, they're off balance sheet. So you won't even know. But these are obligations, and it'll get worked through the income statement through rent expense, but it won't show up as as debt. So I think, at least for Walmart, Loblaws, it's in our best interest to include that. So I have the book value of debt as at Q3. So I'm just going to add operating leases, and I'm just going to say other. Let's go with operating leases. Okay, so we've got operating leases, and there was one other thing there. Purchase obligations, and these other obligations. Just for now, I'm just going to include operating leases. That's a material number. These other, I guess it's more to do with inventory or some sort of purchases. I haven't read through the actual details, but anyways, operating leases. We want lease adjusted debt. That was 1.224. 1.224. That was in millions, and we're speaking in thousands. So if you want to do short-term debt, long-term debt. So sorry, let's just put this up here. I'll erase this. Okay, so we've got these figures, and this is adding all of them. Okay, so our weights increased 65 to 35. So I'm going to change that down here. 0.65, 0.35, and our WACC will also change. 0.328. Now copy this number, and we've got our WACC here. Paste it as a value. Okay, went down a tiny little bit, and that's linked up to the previous one. So here now, when we include debt, which includes operating leases, we're actually much more in line with the stock market. Let's take a look again, see what the price closed at on Friday. $61.51, and we've got $69 flat. So we brought it down a bit, and that was purely by adding more debt by way of operating leases. That's the end of this video. Just a final thought. Again, you don't have to, but it is much better to treat leases as debt, because they are obligations, and if they don't fulfill those obligations, I'm going to guess they forfeit the property which they're leasing, and therefore they won't be able to generate sales. So this is just like any other debt. Bye for now.